things have not exactly gone well for me here. My existence here is contingent on me having a successful honey production business or an ability to make a living. And right now that's not happening. And it rained almost constantly, almost every day for the next 4 months, over 4 months. And my bees suffered, and they all died.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella shit.
Hi everybody, this is Brent from Beekeeping in Paradise, and welcome to the channel. Welcome to my terrace. I haven't done any videos from up here in quite some time, but please excuse the sun. It is a beautiful, bright, sunny day today, and I'm gonna try and get through what is possibly the hardest video that I've ever had to make. As you can tell from the title of the video, things have not exactly gone well for me here so far. Getting started in beekeeping in the Philippines has been more than just a challenge. It's been a series of, well, mostly downs. I like to say ups and downs, but it's been a series of mostly downs. And let's also say learning experiences. Ants all over this hive, and now they're attacking this one. Okay, well, I'm out in the bee yard, and Noidigoy found me out here, and we just started to get to work, and I forgot to turn the camera on. So here's Noidigoy, and here's the plan. We've got our wash tubs. We're going to put these concrete blocks inside the wash tubs. We're going to fill up the wash tubs with water. And we moved all of these stainless steel pans, and as suspected, we've got some bees that are very confused right now. I'm not sure if you can see them. They're looking for their house, but their house is moved over there. So we're going to try and get these as close to how they were as possible. And I'm just going to set this up and see if we can. Let's roll some of that musical footage and go into time-lapse mode. Yep, lots of water. Thank you. So we're getting lots of water today. So we got to fill up these tubs. My bees arrived in late October, just a couple of days before the rain started. And I mean started to where they didn't want to stop. And it rained almost constantly, almost every day for the next 4 months, over 4 months. And my bees suffered, and they all died. And there were a lot of learning experiences in between getting started and where I am right now. And I'm not going to be completely negative about it. Beekeeping takes work, beekeeping takes observation, and beekeeping takes persistence. And I'm going to follow that same pattern, looking for the wax and checking on the deep frames that I moved up into the top box, just to see what's going on the neighboring frames. It's here, nothing. See what's going on here. Oh boy. This fresh wax on the bottom, and this is what I was afraid of, and you know, but this is not a problem. It's inconvenient, but this is not a problem. The queens always love fresh wax. They prefer it to anything else that you can give them. So what we have here is a piece of burr comb hanging down, and it is completely filled with baby bees. There is brood in every cell on here, and I'm okay with that. This queen has been a little on the lazy side recently. I don't see her. She's probably in this big ball of bees over here. Blow them out of the way a little bit. But yeah, this is filled with brood, and that's fine. I would rather see brood than not see brood. So very carefully put this back in. Let's check this one. About the same over here. Let's see, the foundation on one side, then it creeps up into some drawn wax. And this side looks a little bit better. They're building it out in the middle. All right, we are moving in the right direction here. All right, let's check this middle frame, the deep that I moved up. See if they've built down below. Oh boy, golly, they sure did. Look at that. I'm gonna be careful. I don't want to hang this over the edge of the water and drop my queen in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up putting the deep frame that's hanging in the top box, I'm going to cut that wax off and I'm going to put it back down in the bottom box where it belongs. Then that section that I cut off, I'm going to be putting it into a normal medium size frame. This is pretty cool. Got brood and a lot of wax on here. Queens love new wax, so I have to be very careful as I'm cutting this off that she doesn't happen to be on here. Before I do that, here's that wax. You can see that's almost an entire frame of wax there, and it is laid up. And the way you do this is you rotate it like a steering wheel so that none of the weight is actually going against that rib there where it's attached. Like I said, I'm just looking for the queen and don't see her on there. We can see this. No. I just had to trim off a little bit along the bottom. And gently nudge this in. Put one rubber band over the top. Excuse me, girls. And another rubber band over the top this way. I don't want to pinch any of them. Okay. So now that's going to stay in there. Use my hive tool a bit. Just to get that nudged in a little bit more. There we go. There. Very good. So there's that one tucked in with an X rubber band on both sides. I have to experience these things 100% on my own, figure them out, try and do it quickly enough to prevent disaster, and that did not happen. I think that with the limited amount of nectar and pollen coming in, I think the queens started to go into that winter survival mode that's built into them. As European bees, they're genetically programmed to have that time of slowdown and survival instinct. So that's what I think happened. And every time I would go out to the bee yard at the farm, I would drive a half an hour, open them up, and there were fewer bees. Then I would go back home, be discouraged, make some more sugar syrup, bring it back out in a few days, feed them, pray, and look, and there would be fewer bees. Very small cluster of bees here. And these bees are clustered. This really looks like a winter nest to me. The temperatures are in the 70s and 80s all day, every night. But these bees are still, because of the weather, they are clustered. Found the queen here already. And I have no idea why she's in a frame full of nectar. There's no room for her to lay in that patch where she's at on there, but there's a little bit of capped brood on this side. I don't see any open brood. This is our Caucasian queen, and she was my favorite. But she has gotten so small. I can tell she's not laying much. And I know that they were being preyed upon. There are birds and dragonflies. I even saw a few hornets out there. And that's not good. When bees are in survival mode and only a few are going out, and if they're being preyed upon, they're not coming back with the goods. They're not bringing the groceries home to feed the rest of the colony. So I thought it was best to carefully pick the hives up and bring them back to the house. here, away from the predators and into a place where I could more closely nurse them back to health. Well, no sooner did I get them back here to the house, over the course of about 24 to 48 hours, all the bees were gone. I don't know where they went. They left. A complete and total abscond. I've never had this happen before. I don't know what caused it. I was trying to give them a little bit of time and a little bit of space to recover, and one after another, until I got down to one box. The one queenless Italian hive from the farm, they never left. They stayed in their box, and they just kept doing what they were doing before, which was very little. So my whole being here is contingent on me starting a successful business. So this is where this video gets very emotional for me and difficult to make. My existence here is contingent on me having a successful honey production business or an ability to make a living. And right now that's not happening. So what I've done is I purchased 2 more colonies of bees. And in my head, I was convinced that I started keeping the bees at the wrong time of year. By starting them the day before the rains came, I didn't give the bees an opportunity to succeed. I set them up for failure, and it was not intentional. It was just, that's when I could get the bees, and that's when they came. So now things are looking brighter. Things are improving. The weather is getting a lot better. We're still getting rain several times a week. That's normal here in the Philippines, but it's not the torrential monsoon type rains that I've been experiencing. So after talking to my wife, we're going to give it one more shot. And I've got these 2 new colonies of bees, and I've set them up here on the terrace where they are away from the predators and where I can keep an eye on them at all times and make sure that they are fed, and where I can monitor their progress. When the 2 new nucleus colonies came, I took a frame of brood out of one of those and I put it in the queenless hive. And today I'm going to check it out and find out if they've decided to, if they were able to find any eggs and larvae on there that would make a good candidate to make a queen. We're going to go through these and we're going to see if they are starting to build back up. If I can build these bees up and start to split them and make them good and strong, hopefully what will happen is we'll be able to move some of these bees back to the farm and let them have a better chance of survival during summer, and we can turn this back into a business and my life here will continue. And you can help me if you hit like and if you hit subscribe down below. That's going to be a very big help to getting me where to a point where I'm more self-sustainable. So let's go through these. I'm going to pop a veil on. I'm still just wearing t-shirt and shorts. These are incredibly friendly. Okay, like I mentioned, this is the queenless hive, and they are consuming a good amount of sugar syrup, but not a ton. Every day I'm putting about a half a liter in here. Okay, so this is still a little bit of a disappointment. I have a feeling that the brood that I added to this was just a little too old to make into queen cells. What's going on in this one? Now this hive has been taking 1 liter of sugar syrup every single day. I do see larvae with really nice amount of royal jelly in there, so they are putting that protein pollen patty to work. My only complaint is that they are storing too much of the syrup and not giving the queen enough of a place to lay eggs. Number 3. This is also a new nucleus colony, and they have done the same thing, taken all of their syrup. I have a feeling we're going to find more of the same down here with a lot of stored syrup. Hopefully a bit more brood. Sorry. Yeah, this frame is plugged out with syrup. A little bit more confidence that using the terrace here as a safe haven place to build the bees up is a step in the right direction, and it's a practice that is going to help me in the long term. If I can get the bees strong here, if I can make splits, ordering new queens, adding them to the splits, building up the number of hives, I'll be able to slowly reintroduce them to the farm. And then one mistake that I'm not going to make again is putting all my eggs in one basket. And I did that by putting all the bees all at once out at the farm. In theory, it's the perfect location. They have thousands of coconut trees, thousands of acres of forage in weeds and other plants and trees. In practice, I think I did it at the wrong time of the year, and there was a heavy predation load. Let's hope that this works this time. It's a process. It's definitely a learning process. I've learned a lot already about my local environment here, and this is more challenging than it looks, and we're trying to get these bees built up into nice strong honey producing colonies, and when they do, we're going to be in business. things are going to be looking up. So keep me in your prayers. I really appreciate it. Thanks for joining me. Well, good morning, everybody. Well, it's the next day, and I took some time to reflect yesterday. After going through these hives, I determined that I didn't really like what I saw. The bees have been very, very busy storing the sugar syrup that I had been giving them. That's not exactly what I wanted them to do. That was there for survival and to help them draw wax. It is a thin syrup, and I didn't intend for them to be storing it in the brood chamber. And what I found yesterday when I went through the hives was that the brood chamber, in effect, had been completely plugged up with all of this sugar syrup, and it's restricting the queen's space that she has to lay more brood. So what I'm going to do today, since I'm not going to be feeding them for a while, I'm going to remove this top box. I'm going to put another deep box on here because from the dead hives I have extra frames, and now I have extra boxes to use. So I'm going to actually take another deep box and put it on top here, and I'm going to mix and match. I'm going to take some of the food frames from the bottom, move them to the top, and then spread out, and I'm going to reinsert empty comb, drawn combs in the bottom to give the queen empty frames to lay. And since I'm not giving them additional syrup right now, they're not going to plug that up. So hopefully we'll get the queen to start wandering back and forth on those frames and start laying it up, and then we'll really get an explosion of brood. And I'm going to continue to give them the pollen patties. The protein source is really it's good nutrition for the baby bees, for the larvae. So let's open these up, do a little manipulation, and then I'm going to close them up, and that's going to be it. And we'll come back in about a week or so and see if the queen has decided to really get into the mood of laying up these empty frames with some extra brood. And like I said, not feeding anymore, and other than the pollen, so most of that food is on the outside edges. Manipulate some of these middle frames, take out the feeder, add an extra frame, they really do enjoy this pollen. Looking for 2 heavy frames of syrup. Yeah, this is completely plugged up. There's no room for the queen to lay on this frame at all. So this is going to go immediately to the outside of the top box of the next box. queen has more room to lay in used comb, drawn comb, that already has good bee smell all over it. And they've got more space up top that they can work on fresh combs if they want to. And with a little bit of luck, we'll see a massive increase in the population, and things will look good. Things are still a challenge, but hopefully we're headed in the right direction. So keep me in your prayers. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Really do appreciate it. And until next time, remember, I'm Brent. This is Beekeeping in Paradise. And remember, wherever you are in the world, if you've got bees, you are definitely beekeeping in paradise. Be well, be safe, be kind. God bless. I love you all.